There's a story the world loves to tell. A story about speed, about linearity, about success that looks like a straight shot to the top. The story goes like this: you graduate. You find a great job quickly. You climb steadily, you get promoted predictably. You build wealth early. You know exactly who you are and where you're going. Before you even hit 30, you move efficiently, you move visibly. You move upward, always upward. And if you don't, if you get lost, if you get laid off, if you pivot careers, if you pause, if you change your mind, if you slow down, the world doesn't know what to do with you. It gets uncomfortable, it gets judgmental. It whispers you're falling behind. You're wasting your potential. You're too old to be figuring this out. You should have been farther by now. And those whispers, they get into your bloodstream. If you're not careful, they start to sound like truth. They start to sound like your own voice. They start to infect your dreams, your confidence, your willingness to keep moving forward. They make you rush when you need to rest. They make you settle when you were meant to stretch. They make you compare your winding road to someone else's highlight reel. They make you forget that real life is rarely linear. That healing, becoming, rebuilding, reimagining yourself after a loss is not a neat, clean process. It's messy, it's unpredictable. It's slow, it's non-linear. It's full of wrong turns, restarts, doubts and detours that end up mattering more than the original plan. So let me say something you might not have heard loudly enough yet. You're allowed to take the long way. You're allowed to rebuild slowly. You're allowed to not know what's next for a while. You're allowed to wander. You're allowed to explore. You're allowed to lose the map and find something better. You're allowed to follow the energy that feels right instead of the path that looks right. You're allowed to care more about alignment than appearances. You're allowed to stop measuring your life by how efficiently you move through it. Growth is not a race. Healing is not a race. Reinvention is not a race. And the moments you think are wasted, the days you spend reflecting instead of applying, the weeks you spend resting instead of networking, the seasons you spend rebuilding your inner world instead of chasing external milestones, they are not wasted at all. They are foundational, they are transformational, they are essential. They are the moments that will allow you to build a life, a career, a body of work, a version of yourself that is not only successful but sustainable. Because what's the point of getting there fast if you hate who you become on the way? What's the point of rushing back into a job that suffocates you just to prove to someone else that you're back on track? What's the point of checking all the boxes if the boxes don't even fit your soul anymore? You're allowed to take the long way because it's the only way to make sure you're actually building something you want to live. Inside of you, allowed to take the long way because becoming is not a checklist. It's an unfolding. You're allowed to take the long way because the work you're doing now, the work of slowing down, tuning in, recalibrating your values, rerouting your worth, is the kind of work that doesn't show up on resumes, that shapes everything that comes after. Maybe you don't know what your next job title will be. Maybe you don't have a 5-year plan right now. Maybe you feel like you're wandering in the woods with no clear path forward. That's okay, you're not lost. You're learning, you're gathering information, you're finding out what feels good in your body and what doesn't. You're noticing which conversations spark energy and which ones drain it. You're paying attention to the parts of you that have been ignored or silenced or overruled by fear for too long. You're becoming someone who doesn't just follow a path because it's there, but someone who chooses deliberately, someone who chooses deeply, someone who chooses aligned, living over performative success. And yes, it's slower. Yes, it's harder to explain to people who want easy answers about what's next. Yes. It's vulnerable to stand in the in-between without rushing to fill the space with noise. But it's worth it. It's worth it to arrive a destination you actually want, instead of rushing toward one that empties you out. It's worth it to grow slowly into a version of yourself you respect, instead of sprinting toward a version you resent. It's worth it to take the long way, if it means building a life where you don't have to abandon your heart to survive. So if today you feel like you're behind, like you're not moving fast enough, like you're taking too long to figure it out, let this be your reminder. You are not behind, you are not failing. You are not wasting your life. You are becoming carefully, intentionally, honestly, and that is the bravest thing you could possibly do. Trust your timing, trust your slow steps, trust your sacred detours. Trust that the long way is still the way, because everything you are gathering here, the resilience, the clarity, the depth, the self-trust, will serve you longer and better than any shortcut ever could. So breathe. Release the timeline that was never yours to begin with. Release the pressure to impress people who don't have to live your life. Release the shame that says you should be farther by now. You are exactly where you need to become who you are meant to become. One slow, deliberate, beautiful, radical step at a time. Keep going, the long way will lead you home. And when you arrive, you'll know it was worth every patient step. It's easy to feel like you're starting from zero. After a job loss, after a rejection, after a season that ended before you were ready. It's easy to look around at people who seem to have it all figured out and think you're somehow behind. Somehow less than somehow back at square one. It's easy to believe that everything you built before, the relationships, the projects, the wins, the momentum, disappeared the day you were let go, the day you failed, the day your plans unraveled. It's easy to let that loss convince you that you have to rebuild everything from scratch, that you're back at the bottom, that you're no better off than you were years ago when you were just starting out, unsure and unseen. But that's not the truth. That's fear talking, that's shame talking, that's the voice of a world that measures your value by uninterrupted success. Here's the real truth. You are not starting over from scratch. You are starting over from experience, from wisdom, from depth, from resilience, from all the invisible things you gathered while you were moving through the seasons you thought would destroy you. From everything you learned when life didn't go as planned. From the grit you didn't know you had until you needed it. From the boundaries you only built after you watched yourself break for the wrong things. From the self-respect that didn't come from applause, but from the quiet, stubborn work of surviving disappointment. You carry it all with you. The skills, the lessons, the growth, the clarity. Even if it's not on your resume. Even if it's not easy to explain in a cover letter. Even if it doesn't fit neatly into the boxes. Recruiters like to check you carry it in your presence. In your way of thinking, in your way of seeing the world. In your way of showing up with more honesty, more groundedness, more wholeness than ever before. And that matters, that shifts things. That attracts different opportunities. That changes the rooms you walk into. You are not the same as you were the first time you started. You have roots, now you have resilience now. You have stories now, not just of what went right, but of what you survived when everything went wrong. And that kind of experience can't be bought, rushed, or faked. That kind of experience is what separates people who build things that last from people who just perform success for show. So don't diminish what you're carrying. Don't minimize the weight of what you know now. Don't pretend you're back at zero just because your current season doesn't look shiny. Yet you are miles ahead of where you once were. Even if the world can't see it yet. Because success isn't just about speed, it's about staying power, and you have staying power now. You have the kind of experience that tells you not every opportunity is meant for you, and you're strong enough to walk away. You have the kind of experience that reminds you your mental health matters more than your metrics. You have the kind of experience that teaches you how to advocate for yourself, how to listen to your gut, how to trust slow growth over fast approval. You have the kind of experience that reminds you that external validation is nice, but internal alignment is necessary. None of that is lost. None of that disappears just because you're in a messy middle. All of that is the foundation for what's next. And what's next for you? It won't be built on fear this time. It won't be built on desperation. It won't be built on proving yourself to people who don't even know how to see you. It will be built on clarity. It will be built on values. It will be built on boundaries. It will be built on the deep, hard one, knowing that you are enough with or without the title, the paycheck, the performance. So if today you feel overwhelmed at the thought of starting over, breathe. You are not starting from scratch. You are starting from strength. You are starting from substance. You are starting from sovereignty over your own path. You get to be choosier this time. You get to be bolder. You get to be more honest about what you want, what you need, what you deserve. You get to say no faster. You get to say yes more freely. You get to trust yourself in ways you couldn't before because you hadn't yet walked through what you've now survived. Every rejection gave you resilience. Every heartbreak gave you insight. Every misstep taught you how to discern. Every failure stripped away the illusions you didn't know you were living under. And now you get to build differently. Slower maybe, less predictably maybe, but better, more truthfully, more sustainably, more soulfully. That's what you're doing here. That's what this season is about. Not just finding a new job, Not just bouncing back faster than anyone expected, but becoming someone who builds a life, a career, a future that actually fits. A future where you don't have to lose yourself just to win. A future where you don't have to compromise your peace to succeed. A future where you don't have to chase validation because you know your worth from within. So don't fear the new beginning. Don't resent the slow climb. Don't compare your timeline to anyone else's. You're not behind, you're not broken. You're not starting over from nothing. You are starting over from everything you have become. And that is a powerful place to begin. Honor it, trust it. Walk forward with it. Your next chapter isn't blank. It's rich with all the unseen work you've been doing in the dark. And now it's time to let that richness show slowly, boldly, beautifully. One step at a time, one breath at a time, one brave, wise, deeply human choice at a time. You are ready, you are rising. You are beginning again, and this time you are bringing all of you with you.